Alright, welcome back to Myst. This is the Stoneship age. This is picking up from my last video that I just did. And as a quick reminder, I've kind of gotten off the island and I ended up here, and this is the Stoneship age. So I'm going to kind of look around and just show you what I found. I will tell you again, this is an area that I have gotten through already. I'm going to talk through it mostly as I figured it out. And then after that, everything that I do is going to be new to me, so it's going to be figuring out on the fly as I go. So this is blocked off. I can go part way. This is blocked off here. I'm going to go ahead and take this catwalk out, and there's water in the floor, and a key that appears to be chained, and some kind of a locked trap door up to the top. And I would love to get this key off of the bottom, but I can't see how to do that. And yeah, this is not real helpful. Now I can see there's a little plank here, but you know, at this point, that doesn't mean much. Let's go out this way to this thing, and I click on these, and this is another one of those places, I mentioned this in the first video, one of those places where you get a little bit of a sound cue that maybe something's going on. And I noticed that I only have one of these switches lit at once, or I can turn them off. Go over here. Nothing that I can really do here. This seems very interesting. Music changes and I come up to a telescope. And I can look around, and this is going to be a little tedious, but I'm going to go ahead and just look through all of this and just kind of scan the whole picture, see if there's anything that jumps out as I look through the telescope. All right, and that's pretty close. And this immediately caught my attention as, you know, something that's a very distinct shape, and it's squarely under 135 degrees. So that suggests maybe there's something with 135 later on. The rest of this so far is not particularly noteworthy. There's something here, but it's not, again, it's not quite right on 180. It doesn't really stand out. But the other one stood out. There's something here on 210, but it seems to be in the distance. The other things seem to be very prominent and, like I said, directly under that 135, which made me think that was going to be significant. Keep going here. I'm almost done. Alright, this is something else that's right underneath 305, so that maybe is relevant too. And we're back to 0. So, definitely 135, maybe something with 305 that might be significant. And by the way, I will say you can look around here, but there's doesn't appear to be anything that you can really do beyond that. So here's the part. Now, oh, there's one more door here. Appears to be blocked off. And this is where you can get a little bit stuck on this era, because you've kind of looked around a little bit and haven't seen much. Now, this looks different, right? And this was not here before. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look in here. This is dark, some kind of water bubbling noises. But I really can't see anything in here. Especially as I get down here at the bottom. I can't make anything out. It appears to be underwater maybe, but nothing that I could figure out. And I visited this area a number of times. Couldn't make heads or tails of it. But there's clearly some kind of a room there. No, and like I said, that was not there when I first got the map. So what's changed? I've looked through the telescope. The other thing that I've done is I've flicked these switches. So what happens if I switch a different one? And it took me a little while to figure out. There's that sound in the background. And now this is not the same tunnel that I went down. To the bottom. And there's another room in here. And there's a desk. This does this thing. I can't figure out if there's any meaning to that. Let's see if the drawer opens. Sure enough. And there's stuff here. I can't read what that says. There's some pills, needles. It's a little strange. None of this appears to be clickable. There's a knife over there, but I can't look at it closely. Nothing on this desk. Just interesting. Seems very noticeable, but nothing more to it than that that I could find. Does something, but there's an arrow coming out of it. I don't know if that's meaningful in any way. The bed, like I said, nothing remarkable. Doesn't look like there's a drawer underneath it. Or you can go underneath it. I didn't see underneath that. This is a different drawer. It's a little bit of a different pattern. There's a chair here. And you click on something like this, you click all this stuff on the walls, trying to figure out what you can look at. The one thing I didn't do is I didn't go look at this dresser yet. And if you look, you can open all these drawers. There's some jewels, there's some money. You can't grab the money. Plates, some kind of rolls of fabric, empty drawer, and a pink paper. Now, I will tell you, the pink paper haunted me for a long time because I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do with it. I'm going to leave it here, and I'll show you when I get to the end what it's for. You might have already figured this out, but it took me a while. But I explored this room for a while, didn't find anything else. So I'm going to go back up to the dark thing. And this one, by the way, you'll notice this room is closed. And now, you know, at this point I was piecing together, hey, wait a minute, this thing clearly is controlling some switches as to what opens up. I did notice also that this room, which is on the other side of that little boat, opens up with that switch in the middle. And there's kind of a creepy rib cage and poisons. Doesn't appear I can do anything with these though. It just looks really creepy. It looks like something's a little sinister here. And there's a blue paper on a pretty gross bed. And again, the blue paper, I found a blue paper and a pink paper. I tried putting them together, that didn't do anything. I came over here. There's a mask. Doesn't appear that I can do anything with it though. Another mask. This room's not as well lit as the other one. Let's go take a look at this dresser here. Some kind of a map. And you'll see all the drawers open. Map, 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 computer doesn't appear that I can grab this page, so I have partial instructions. And I may be looking for something really wrong. And then just another map. Alright, then there's this thing, which generates an image of a flower, and then it turns into a skull, and then turns off. And after several visits to this room, I discovered this thing slides. You can, have fun with this. But I didn't find any particular significance to that. And I still, to the point I am in the game, have not found any particular significance, but it looks interesting. Right. And now I'm back out. Okay. So there are 2 bedrooms that I've found now. Putting the So this switch was the first bedroom. This was actually the next 2 bedrooms. And I say bedroom for the first switch. I assume that's what it was. But 2 kind of tunnels that go down the shelves. Here's the one that's left. And it clearly does something. Now look, this one is locked. This one can't go down. Over here, this one's also closed. If I go up here, I mean, this is the same as it was before. So the only thing I haven't checked yet is this thing. And actually, as I look at this, I see power cables, and this is the lighthouse, which is consistent with what was in those journals back there. And it took me a bit, but I noticed this room looks different because there's no water here. And there appear to be stairs that go down to the bottom. And there's some kind of a chest here. And turn that. And that's not particularly meaningful because I still can't open this thing. But after playing around in here for a while, I eventually gave up and said, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Alright. So now at this point, I had kind of been everywhere, I thought, but I couldn't figure out where to make things go from there. Here, you'll notice again, this thing is still locked, and this key is still stuck. But that seemed to be the most likely place to get to the next part of this game, or to make some progress. So I'm going to turn that off for a minute. And when you get to a point like this on a level, you kind of have to just experiment with different things. And you can keep going back here. Those are all closed. When I go here, though, the water is back. Alright. And eventually I figured out I'm going to go down here. But you see now the treasure chest, or this chest is sitting here, and what I've apparently done is I've flipped a switch that is now going to allow this to float up when this thing floods. Not really obvious. And now you can look at this and go, oh, wait a minute. This key sure seems to fit that. And there's a key, which I'll bet fits this. And sure enough, it does. So they threw a little bit of a curveball at you. And now you're up in the lighthouse. And as I look around, there's not much there. I did see this crank and I thought, oh, I wonder if I can turn it. And sure enough, if you click on it, it does turn. And out this thing right here. This is your little generator. You see it's up to here. You actually can see a faint box around here, which I think is the button you can click on. Anyway, this thing is all the way up, and you saw it just came down a little bit. So this is some kind of a dynamo that's powering something. Alright, so let's head down for a minute. And if I turn around and look, I'm not seeing anything here. Where are my switches? It's on the middle, okay. So, is that going to change anything down here? Actually, it is. I now have lights that go all the way down. Now, these rooms were lit before, so that's not anything particularly good, but I can see a little better on my way out. I also... this is the first one. So I want to check this room, because this room, it still appears that this one is dark. So that didn't help with the darkness in this room. And then as I come over here, this tunnel is also blocked off, but there is light again in that one. One other thing I'm going to take a quick look at while I'm here is I'm going to look at the telescope, and I'm going to go this way. And yes, we're doing this again, but oops. And if you click outside of the box, then you have to start over. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100... 135, and sure enough, this is now flashing right under the 135. That's the lighthouse, which is now being powered by the generator. So that's a pretty good indication that 135 is significant. Now I haven't seen anything where I can put in like a code of 135. You remember back on the island there was the one safe, but I still have to get back to the island before that would even be relevant. And here now, I spent a long time trying to figure out the next thing, because it's one of the harder things to find, I think, in the game. And if I look back at the map, tunnel to Sirius's bedroom, Akinar's bedroom, wooden walkway to telescope, lighthouse generator, stairs to bedroom, Myst book, umbrella coat. I've been all of these places, and I went around, clicked on things, tried doing stuff with the pages, couldn't figure anything out. Finally, I actually found this thing by accident. So this is one of those things where all the stuff before this on this level you can kind of figure out by experimenting. This one is harder to find, and so if you haven't found this and just need the next step, don't feel bad. But if you come down this tunnel, you can see there's a little outline right there, and I actually clicked on this by accident. And there is this little hidden walkway. And okay, that's I can't remember which bedroom that is. Akinar's, I think. But that's not the tunnel that I came down first. I came down the one for Sirius's. So this connects these two bedrooms. And I noticed this thing right here. And there are potentially a whole bunch of buttons, and if I click the top one, I get this lovely noise. And I have to get out, and apparently now everything is off. So that turned out all of the lights. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come back over here to my generator, and you can see it's at red. So we're going to fire up the generator again. Great. And here's this. It still opens. Doesn't do anything, but it opens. Alright. Back to here, and the lights are back on, and the third one down, and here's this tunnel. Okay, so you can go through and just test every single one of these, but there has to be some kind of rhyme or reason to it. And the only other thing that I can think of at this point that you have some kind of a circular pattern, you have yellow, red, black. I hadn't seen any of those colors that indicated maybe something that I could point to. But I had seen on a telescope, I'd seen 135 degrees. And 135 degrees, you know, here's 0, 90, 180. 135 is right in between those two, and there's a button pointing to that switch, and I hit that one, and that appeared to turn on the light, instead of turning off all the lights. Once again, sound clues are potentially useful here. I can kind of hear that bubbling noise, and I see this light, and I went, oh, I wonder if I finally turned on the light in that other bedroom. So let's go take a look and see if I can... Oop, I gotta go up the stairs. See if I can get in that other bedroom. Remember, I have to go here to turn that switch. Come down and already this looks better. There's light. It's not extremely well lit, but there is some light here. And this thing I can now see, oh, there's like a desk here, there's a window, there's stairs, and the desk, when I click on the desk, out pops a book. You can actually see the words Myst on it. Very pixelated. A lot easier to read here. Click on this. Don't know if you remember this symbol. What's funny, I missed this symbol completely the first time when I was looking through the place where this is. But this is on the ceiling of the library, back on the island. And when I click on that, there's the ceiling of the library, and I'm back in this room. So now that's pretty much everything that I'd figured out. That's the Stoneship age. There may be more to it. The one thing I guess I promised you that I would do is there's those colored pages. They go in these books. The red page goes in the red book over here, and the blue page goes in the blue book over here. So anytime I want to, I can actually go back down here. Gotta go down the stairs. And I can go back to the same world. Or age, I guess, as they call it in this game. And I didn't get the switches on the way that I left it. think I have to go over to the lighthouse. All of this is as I found it. And I'm just holding this pink page. I'm going to go ahead and take this back to the Myst Island. Great. No, don't want to close that. I want to get out. Alright, back over here. That one. I need this one. Because I need the top. Go down here, hit the one that's at 135 degrees. And all of this, you can see you can get in and out of this same area as often as you want to. Alright, so I've added that here.
Return. Thank you for bringing me with me. You must continue.
Alright, I'm going to actually cut that short. You can listen to the whole message if you want, but basically what he says is, oh, yeah, you found red pages, only bring the red pages, you can't trust my brothers, he's dishonest. And if you go back and get the blue page from that same place and bring it and put it into the blue book on the other side of the room, he says basically the same thing about his brother. So at this point, and this is pretty much as far as I am in the game, I'm a little bit further, which I'll do in the next video, but the at this point in the game, they're really, I don't know any more than this. Neither one of them seems to trust the other. One of them says something about being wrongly imprisoned, but again, can't really tell exactly what he's getting at. It's hard to make out because of the static on there. So I should go back and get the other blue page. The last thing that I want to do, though, and I'm going to show you this because this is about the point in the game where I discovered this, is remember this letter from before that says, enter the number of marker switches into the imager. If I come down here, there were a total of 8 marker switches that I found.
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine, it's one of our sons. I suspect Achenar, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Cirrus as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long. Well, I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return. But if you've forgotten the access keys, remember the tower rotation. Oh, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, wait, and erase this message after you've viewed it, just to be safe.
Alright, so that was interesting. Clearly one of the sons is doing something wrong, destroying books, and don't know which one. I actually think you're supposed to find that message a little bit earlier in the game, because he says if you've forgotten the access key, remember the tower rotation, which is the big clue for how I found my way to the Stoneship Age in the first place. But I did find this eventually, and it means there's apparently something going wrong on with the two suns. So I'm gonna come back to this. I'm gonna just put this back on 47, and I'm gonna leave the room here if I can find my way up the stairs. And that's where I'm going to leave it for today. So the next video I'm going to show you the next couple of steps that I've made in the game, and actually I'm going to be playing a level for the first time, so it should be really fun. Thanks, and I'll catch you in the next one.